Perhaps we have all heard that life is a gift. Well, there are things in it that are evidently so, as well as others that make us doubt it. What would you think if I told you that everything, absolutely everything in life, even if it is not obvious, is a gift? It is almost a commonplace saying that we come into this world without an instruction manual. Better or worse, everyone ends up writing their own, acquiring tools in the course of existence itself and, as Don Miguel de Cervantes said, everyone ends up being a child of themselves. Life does not seem very fond of fixed rules either, but that is precisely why it is a great teacher. Life is really the only thing we have. Neither material things, nor the presence of other people, lasts forever. Perhaps we don't need much else, as long as we have life, which is the most valuable possession, at least during our earthly stay. Usually the ugliest things we are taught by life are learned immediately, while learning the beautiful can take a long time, as it requires experiences to compare, the development of understanding, sensitivity and intelligence, as well as overcoming conflicts of various kinds, to say the least. It is true that existence is full of ups and downs, often unpredictable, where seemingly good and seemingly bad things often come without warning, and it is inevitable to experience them in one way or another. Life is like a game of chance, indeed, whose only certainty is that at some point it will end. However, as in poker or other games, some things are relatively predictable, and understanding them helps us to enjoy the experience of the game more. It seems that the core of existence is experience. Even if it were not, it is a fundamental component. Life experiences and the way we assimilate them are like chapters in our book, entries in the logbook of our personal experience, or notes in a melody, which in the end can be beautiful, boring, interesting, always with many nuances. Something similar happens with life processes, such as growth, aging, construction, or deconstruction, all of which have their place and purpose in the time in which we live, and which, in general, form part of the nature of our existence. The important thing is that if we pay enough attention, in the end every experience teaches us something about ourselves. Every experience teaches us about others, about life itself, as if it were a mirror. Likewise, if we pay enough attention, these lessons about the good and the bad will sooner or later become tools for living and being better. It is useful to understand that often the same thing can be good or bad depending on the situation. That is to say, what is good in a certain context is bad in another situation, or vice versa, and we need to be alert to this. We are often conditioned to believe that in order to live we have to follow a set of fixed and permanent rules, but this is not how it works. In fact, if you are in such a situation, it is urgent that you review it. True, rules allow us to achieve ends, to have security and to maintain order, which is often necessary or constructive. Rules, however, are there to serve man, not the other way around, and no rule is good for everything. This means that, from the outset, it is useful to understand and know the rules, to know when to respect or transgress them, and to recognize that they are mostly imaginary. That, by the way, in parentheses, is one of the existential problems that religions in general tend to bring with them, but that is a topic for another occasion. You have probably been in situations where telling the truth is bad, or at least the worst option. Or cases where ending someone's life is the best thing to do. Apart from that, there are many nuances and arguments. If you think about it a bit, this will give you good clues as to the proper use of the rules. Kabbalistic wisdom states that bad and good are situational. Everything teaches you something and everything that is learned helps you to improve, like when in a video game you gain lives or your energy level increases. In general, Kabbalists understand that the really bad is what takes you away from God, as opposed to the good, in no fixed ways. More than things or situations, the real problem may be the attitude, further related to the intention, and this to the inner content. It is common for the overall situation in life to become stormy or dark for seasons, and this is where the attitude becomes relevant. Even when a situation is extremely bad, we can always count on choosing our attitude, although this sometimes requires courage. There are times when attitude is the only thing we can choose, or one of the few things that are truly ours. It is also necessary to recognize, and to bear in mind, that even when the situation is at its worst, there is always something in our lives that is working well at that moment. In Ridley Scott's film Gladiator, there is a character named Proximo, who shortly before a death match instructs his gladiators that while it is not always possible to choose how to leave this world, we can decide how to face it, to be remembered as men. And this is consistent with the idea that when you are fighting, do not fight for your lives, fight for your names. While this may sound dramatic, it is a fact that attitude changes many things: perception, probabilities, luck, the exploitation of experience, the quality of what we learn, and helps us understand the true value of each experience. Of course, attitude is much better when it is well directed, guided by your inner intelligence. Attitude is part of the ongoing choice to be part of a solution or part of a problem. In the many conflicting situations we face in life, we have to distinguish if we are part of the problem, and in which way. This is something that must always be carefully observed and analyzed, as well as realizing that sometimes just being in a certain place, even with the best of intentions, makes us part of the problem. If you feel that your life is worthless, or that it sucks, it is almost certainly of great value to reflect on this. Although despair may seem justified, it only serves to make things worse or not to work, and in that job it is magnificent. Keep in mind that good attitude and well-being or happiness feed back on each other. Unhappy people tend to vomit their misery on others, while those who find their own good shine a light around them. In short, we are sure that the reflections we have addressed are worth going deeper into, so we suggest that you review and question them for yourself, and that you join us in future videos, in which we will expand on them. For now, at the beginning of this video I told you that I would explain to you why everything, absolutely everything in your life, is a gift. First, keep in mind that life is a reflection of ourselves. That's why I told you that life, whatever it contains, is a gift. Everything apparently good hides something bad and vice versa. There is no real middle ground, but one or more dynamic points of equilibrium. Anyway, all of it is knowledge. In the end, life, through both apparently good and bad things and experiences, brings us all kinds of teachings, which one by one allow us to perfect our being gradually, bringing us closer to our eternal and divine nature, to the best of ourselves, to being one with the infinite being. And you, what is your attitude towards life, and how can you improve it for your benefit? Have you been in situations in life in which, without realizing it, you were part of or the cause of a problem? What learning has helped you to live better, internally and externally, or what do you think you would need for that purpose? What would you do with that knowledge? Have you thought about whether you have it hidden inside you, or what you can do to achieve it? What has been the most valuable learning in your life so far? If you liked this video, give us a like, subscribe, read the description, share and leave us a comment, which we shall be happy to read. See you in the next video.